Hello, English 10 students. I put together this video because my mouth still kind of hurts and it's going to be very difficult for me to raise my voice and project in class. So we'll watch this for instructions instead. If you haven't already done so, please open up the Section 1 Allegory Group Project on Canvas. Today, students will work in groups to analyze allegorical elements from the first section of American-born Chinese and construct an allegorical message. If you haven't already completed your IA oral commentary outline, please do that as quickly as possible. All students have been scheduled for their IA commentaries. If you go to our course, right under resources, you'll see Honors English 10A sign-up sheet finalized. You can click on that. Click on the link and you'll see the finalized sheet. You'll also notice that, it says, remember, if you miss your appointment for any reason, you need to complete that IA makeup recording. I'll just continue to move those two things from one weekly module to the next. So it'll always be listed under resources for the current week that you're looking at. All right, but let's get back to our slides. So today you're going to be doing an allegorical analysis of the first section of American-born Chinese. Unlike the last group project that you did, right, everyone will turn in their own individual set of slides, but you are working together to kind of complete these. So where it says names, you can put everybody's name who's in your group. First name is fine. You don't have to do full names, and the period number. The first step is to just discuss your close reading analysis, right? That item that you completed on Canvas over the last 2 days, right? Just make sure everyone basically has the same understanding of like what happened, what they thought was the most significant, and then how did the author use color, size, image, speech, etc. To convey that significance. Once you've kind of shared that out with everyone in your group, then you can move on to the next section. The next section asks you to just put together 3 bullet points of a summary of what happens in that section, right? So everyone should basically agree on like what are the 3 most important things to write down. Then the next couple of slides all focus on either a character, an event, or a place. And they ask you to do 2 things. First is to provide evidence, where you're going to write down a certain number of bullet points about how the character acts or what that character experiences in that section of the reading. And on the right-hand side, you're going to do an analysis where you kind of explain what is the larger idea that that character or that place or whatever represents, right? Who does this character represent in society? And you want to be as detailed as possible and as thorough in your explanation as possible. There's a couple ways that you can go about doing this in your groups, right? You can decide to just assign 1 to 2 people to work on just this character, the Monkey King. And then, for example, maybe the next 1 or 2 people in your group can work with the guard. 1 or 2 people decide to work on the party guests, or you can decide to work on all of them all together and kind of share out. But it might make it easier and faster for you today if maybe 1 or 2 people gets a character or a slide each and then shares with everybody else what their completed slide looks like. You'll notice that the bullet points and the analysis are all the same for all of those, just kind of keeping with that rhythm, right? 4 to 5 bullet points about what happens and what that character does, and then your kind of explanation or analysis of what that character is supposed to represent. There's also the setting as well, right? The party in heaven. What are 3 bullet points about how this, not how this character acts, but what happens at that party? And then what is the setting supposed to represent? So what does the setting kind of represent in society? What types of places or potentially what types of situations? And the other setting is the flower mountain. Same thing, like 3 bullet points kind of explaining what happens in that setting and then analyzing what that setting is supposed to represent. Once you've done that, you're able to move on to the next section where you're going to put together an allegorical message. If you think back to when we looked at the allegory of the tortoise and the hare, right at the very end of the video, after it kind of explains, here's all the things that the tortoise did, here's all the things that the hare did, and that message, slow and steady wins the race, kind of comes across, right, as our allegorical message. You're trying to create your own allegorical message about what happens here in that first section with the Monkey King. So the first thing that you want to do, right, is kind of answering these questions on the left-hand side in 3 to 5 sentences. What is that underlying message that's conveyed through the allegory? And then how does the author use the characters to reveal that message? Everyone should be able to kind of work on this together, and it makes sense to do this slide last after you've analyzed all the different characters and settings. That'll make things much easier. Once you finish with that, you're going to want to make sure that you submit your allegorical analysis slides. Again, everybody needs to turn that in individually. It's not one person per group. Everyone turns it in themselves, their own copy of it. So you need to make sure all of your slides are finished. That is due before 7:45 a.m. tomorrow morning. If you haven't finished working on your IA oral commentary outline, you need to make sure that that is done. I'm not going to continue to remind people to do this. This is something that you should have completed a while ago. If you need help, please come see me during lunch when I'm available, which is mostly on Wednesdays, or you can send me an email and I'll find another time that works for both of us. If you have individual questions, please raise your hand. I'll come around to help you shortly. Thank you.